Hey guys, welcome to another episode of The Restless Millennial, the voice of the motivated youth. Today we've got another guest, another day, another guest. Today, Lucas Picciolo. Did I pronounce it right?
Some people say Picciolo, but it doesn't really matter. Yeah.
So it's Italian.
Yeah.
All right. So Lucas is joining TRM today to talk about his business, which is SleepFuture. So Lucas is kind of designing a new kind of bed that's not out there on the market, at least. So his bed is kind of designed to help people with back problems, or people who are younger and don't want to have back problems in the future. You know, it's a bed that's gonna, stop that from happening. So first of all, first question I want to ask you on the podcast is, what inspired you to get into like the sleep industry?
Yeah, so absolutely. So my dad has had back problems for my whole life, and I didn't know I was going to study sleep and like contact sleep researchers and look at all these this data for sleep. But my dad has had back pain for my whole life, and I've always wanted to help him without the use of pharmaceuticals or surgery, because I saw what those effects are and what the human body does with pharmaceuticals. It's not good. So I started researching, and I found that sleep is the only time that your body recovers muscle, right? It's the only time that you're actually getting younger, right? When you're awake, you have you're slowly actually getting brain damage when you're awake.
Really?
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. So when you're sleeping, it's the only time you're actually clearing those protein cells in between the brain cells and recovering and regenerating muscle tissue, bone tissue, and cartilage, right? So after doing a lot of research on sleep, I found that I could help my dad in this way. I could, if he sleeps in the optimal position, in the best position possible, possibly his back could get a little bit better, right? Because a full recovery is really, really hard. But even just a little bit better for people that have back pain out there, it takes a lot out of you.
So, like, what's the problem with the beds that are designed today? What issues are there with like the current mattresses that are on the market?
Yeah. So on the market right now, it's the beds are all designed the same, and that design is your body sinks in, right? So whatever position your body is in, that's the way you will recover the muscle. That's the way that the muscle will stay and grow. So with that being said, there's no restriction, there's no encouragement, you're not encouraging the body to sleep in an optimal position. You're just letting it do what it wants.
So what is an optimal position?
Yeah, it's basically straight, right? If you look at, so your spine straightens out automatically when you stand up, right? Right. When you're sleeping, the gravity has a different way of pulling the bones apart. So if you're sleeping not in a straight position, in a solid position, we find that mattresses are a lot too soft. And I did a kind of what's it called? Survey. Yeah. Okay. I had to think about that. Survey with over 150 people, and I'd say 65% of the people preferred harder sleeping surface. And that's natural, right? As humans, we were raised on the ground. Mm-hmm. It doesn't make sense that for only the past 200 years, we've been sleeping on these extremely soft, commercialized sleeping surfaces just to make money. It's not how our bodies were designed, and it's certainly not good for the body.
I think I read on your website that you have something there about the way Japanese people sleep.
Yeah.
With like mats. Yeah. So like that's like what you're talking about. Like a hard surface is actually good for your body.
Absolutely.
Because like when back problems happen when you sink into the bed, right? Are there any good soft beds on the market, or are all soft beds bad?
I believe that all soft beds are bad.
Yeah.
That's my belief. After the research I've done about the spine, after talking to spine researcher for over 30 years experience, the sinking aspect does not do justice. Mm-hmm. Traditionally, the Japanese people sleep on tatami mats and futons.
Right.
It's better for the body. So when you're sleeping on a very soft mattress, your bones are pressing against the soft tissue, right? And that cuts off your circulation. Excuse me, I got a...
No worries.
Yeah, a little bit sick.
But what about in terms of like comfort? Like, some people would argue that sleeping on a hard, although it's good for you, it's not as comfortable as sleeping in a soft bed. Like how can you make a kind of harder bed more comfortable in a sense?
I think it's just because that you were raised on a soft mattress for your whole life. You're not used to sleeping on a hard surface, which is actually good for you. Mm-hmm. Japanese people have been raised on hard sleeping surfaces, and they literally don't even use pillows. They use neck blocks.
Yeah.
They don't use pillows, right? So in Japanese culture, self-awareness is everything. So if you're self-aware how you sleep, it's the ultimate recovery in that you can do for your body. Yeah.
So like what is effective sleeping according to you? Because like there's some entrepreneurs out there, let's use entrepreneurs as an example. A lot of busy entrepreneurs only sleep like 4 or 5 hours a night, if that, and some people can function at full, capacity with only sleeping a few hours. Like, is there any way to like sleep well enough that you could only have to sleep a few hours a night?
So there are definitely different types of people, and everything I say is just regurgitated. It's not like I'm making this stuff up.
Mm-hmm.
I've been learning it, and
exactly.
I'm just.
I would actually ask you after how you learned all this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I don't think there's like a course in school on like sleep studies.
Well, I'll answer that really quickly right now. It's called the University of the Internet. It's completely free. You can learn whatever you want, anytime you want. And I'll tell you this, schools are telling students to go on the internet and learn anyways.
Yeah.
So do it by yourself. It's very easy.
Wikipedia is a good tool. I always said that in school. Wikipedia is the best tool for researching, but they say it's bad. They don't let you cite it in essays and stuff.
It's, you know what, it's amazing. And after you research and you get so many things that say the same thing, it's like, oh, okay, that
must
sounds
be right.
true. Yeah, it must be right, right? So,
so back to the question,
yeah.
Can people get 3 or 4 hours of sleep a night and still get quality sleep, and still function at full capacity?
So I guess the answer to that would be there is two types of sleepers. So there's the night owl and the morning bird, right? Yeah. That's based on tradition on our cultures. If you want to protect your tribe for the optimal amount of time, if everyone goes to bed at 10 p.m. and wakes up at 7 p.m. or 7 a.m., the tribe has been left alone for 8 hours. If someone went to bed at 2 a.m. and someone woke up at 6 a.m., you only have 4 hours of time that the tribe is under attack. 4 hours, right? Unprotected, I should say. Saying that, there are different people that can sleep for a certain amount of time. Some people it's 9 hours, some people it's 7 hours or 6 hours. It's completely up to the person. But what the professionals do say is 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep. It doesn't matter the length, but if the quality is not there, meaning sleeping in a cooler surface, a cooler atmosphere, and sleeping on a solid surface, you'll get a much better quality sleep than sleeping on a soft, warm surface, right?
A lot of people say that like using your phone before bed too affects your sleep. How does it actually affect you, like the quality of your sleep, I guess?
Absolutely, yeah. So our bodies have a natural 24-hour clock, and with all this artificial light in everyday activities, even street lights, your body thinks that it's still sunlight. Your body thinks that it's still during the daytime. So
so it doesn't shut off as easy.
It doesn't shut off as easy, and that's one program I've actually started. It's called the Miracle Morning. It basically teaches you to leave your phone outside of the bedroom with the alarm at 6:45 in the morning, and do your morning routine, and don't look at your phone for an hour. So I find that that really helped my awareness.
So you started doing that as well?
Oh, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Life-changing. Yeah, it's amazing.
So you think people shouldn't have their phones like right beside their bed?
I don't think so, no.
I'm guilty of that too. Like first thing when I wake up in the morning, like I grab my phone right away, and it's the last thing I do before I go to sleep too. And so sometimes I wake up as well and I feel like it had an effect on my sleep.
Absolutely.
Because, sometimes when I don't have it, it's just, it's like anxiety too, right? When you have your phone there, it's like you're always plugged in. Whereas like, before you go to bed, you should kind of unplug.
Yeah.
Get ready to let your body naturally wind down, right?
Absolutely. And to go further on that, what you should do when you go to bed and wake up is stretch, yawn, right? Yawning is basically like a burst of energy for your brain, a burst of blood into your brain.
Really?
Yeah, and stretching is the same thing. As soon as you wake up and you feel tired and sore, stretch. Get the blood in your muscles. Let it out, right? You wake up a lot easier. It's not like your blood is all very, very. You have to think about when you're sleeping. It's very, very low heartbeat. Very, very calm. Everything's calm. As soon as you stretch, you get all that muscle bursting in your body.
And that's why you don't want to get up in the morning, because you're at that level, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So just a little stretch you'll be surprised how much it affects you.
Instead of just splashing yourself with cold water or something like that.
You could, whatever works.
Are alarms bad for sleep? Like alarms that like wake you up
Yeah,
at
yeah.
a certain time, are they actually bad for in terms of
I'll
getting
definitely
close?
touch on that. Yeah. So I've reading about sleep.
Like, you're
is-
like a sleep encyclopedia.
It's amazing, dude. It's literally the best job ever. Like it's amazing. So, no, you should not have an alarm. So humans are the only species on this planet that deprive themselves of sleep. We are the only people that wake ourselves up, right? And that's only been happening for 100, 150, 200 years, right?
Yeah.
It took millions of years to wake up naturally and have this energy in your body when you wake up. We're destroying that year by year, and you can see depression rates are going up, alcoholism is going up, Alzheimer's going up, depression. All this stuff is directly linked to sleep deprivation.
Yeah.
If you get less than 7 hours of sleep, your chance of dementia goes up by 50%.
50%.
Your chance
That's
of
crazy.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
So the stuff we do know about sleep is scary. The stuff we don't know about sleep is unknown. So sleep is just so important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how many hours? Like you said, 7 hours, 7 to 9 hours is a good amount, and like you cannot. If you get less than that, there is no way that you can, still get the right amount. Like it's different for each person, right?
Yeah. And so one thing to mention, I think, is
Like, what if someone's using your bed and they only sleep in it for 4 hours, and they're getting those 4 hours of quality sleep? Like, is that enough? Like, over a long period of time, or are you still going to feel the effects of not getting enough sleep over time?
So
right?
as of now, we're creating our production molds.
Right.
In the future, we plan to do studies. I'm working with a sleep specialist
To see if it has an effect. Okay.
to see if it has an effect, and we're hoping that it does. The position of sleep affects the quality of sleep.
Mhm.
It makes sense, right?
Right.
So yeah, it's definitely progressing. It takes a long time for medical research.
Yeah.
So we're really.
So you started the process already?
Yeah, we definitely started the process. It's just a long time of research and government funding. Canadian government has a lot of funds for R&D. So whatever your engineers or your researchers spend, you can get 25 to 50% back.
Really?
So I'm working on that process as well. It's a lot of processes.
So
but,
are you thinking of like selling these beds like on your own website or like through your own company, or selling them to like retailers like Sleep Country and stuff if they're willing to take them on?
So definitely not Sleep Country.
Not Sleep Country because they're making the beds that you don't like.
Exactly. Yeah. So definitely not Sleep Country.
Yeah.
But what my intern has been working on is calling all physiotherapy and chiropractic clinics in Toronto. If they buy 2 or 3 units per clinic, 70% of them said absolutely we'd love to buy products, right? So I think that's a great way of organically growing. And instead of me selling the beds, let the doctors sell the beds for me, right? A more reputable person in the industry selling the bed, saying yes, I approve this bed, right?
Have you even hospitals maybe even look into that?
I've gotten literally everything. When I went to Montreal Startup Fest,
so
many people were interested. People were saying, what about homeless people? What about bomb shelters for natural disasters? There's so many routes. There's so many avenues. We want to help a lot of people sleeping and also educating people about sleep.
Yeah. So what kind of things are you doing to educate people about sleep?
Well, something like this is a beautiful education.
Oh, 100%. I didn't know half the things you just said about sleep.
Yeah, so I think this is a great way to communicate with real people on the other side of the camera and the microphone. And it's really great. Also with posts, with sleep specialists, with chiropractors and spine specialists. Also in the future, we're still figuring out what our website should be and like what it should look like, but I definitely want to have a help center. I have this sleeping problem.
Like a forum, right, where people can put questions and get answers.
I would love it. I would
Ask.com or something.
Absolutely for sleep.
Yeah.
Right. I think it's crucially important for life. Sleep. So every living creature on this planet sleeps in some form. So I think that's really interesting.
So maybe your ultimate goal is to solve insomnia.
I would love to. I would love to tackle it. I would love to. Yeah, absolutely.
For sure. So, what are some things that you're doing right now to kind of get your message out? I know you said you've been posting on social media, but what specialists are you working right now in the kind of sleep industry or physiotherapy industry?
Yeah, I'd say another way too is talk to everyone you can talk to. Get that word out there. Network. Go to LinkedIn events. Go to Startup Fest. Get out there and spread your message. Real people like this is what relationships are built on, right? But what was the other question again?
How are you spreading the word? Like, you're the specialist you're working with. Like, what kind of specialists are you working with? Who are you working with?
Yeah,
right now,
absolutely. So I'm working with a sleep specialist that's worked at Sick Kids for 12 years, and also a spine doctor. He goes by the nickname Dr. Spine.
Dr. Spine.
I think that's pretty funny.
Is his last name Spine, or no? That's just his nickname, right?
No, Stuart McGill at University of Waterloo. He just retired. He's been researching for 30 plus years. He treats NFL players, UFC fighters, Olympic athletes. People fly out to his house and get checked out, so that's fun. Also, the engineer I'm working with has 40 years of ergonomic experience.
Oh, wow.
So he designs chairs like we're sitting on. He designs actually chairs.
Hopefully better chairs. These ones are uncomfortable.
Yeah. No, his designs are amazing. His facility is amazing. The people are amazing. I think that's important.
How did you get in contact with him?
The engineer?
Yeah, the LinkedIn events as well?
No. That actually took some like digging and work. So I'll tell you the story. It's a pretty funny story.
Sure.
So it's so I made the prototype. I made my bed, and I wanted to reproduce it because I started getting feedback, and people actually wanted the bed. So I went to mattress wholesalers. I asked, can you do this for me? Can you make multiple? Can you make hundreds? And the answer was no. Like, no one could make this weird shape that's never been done, right? But at the third wholesaler I went to, he recommended I talk to this company in Etobicoke. And I called the company. It was Sunday at like 3 p.m. It was a really, really like weird day.
Yeah.
Sunday at 3 p.m. and I was in Vaughan area. I called the production manager, and he said, "Hey, what's up? What do you want?" And I was like, I'm 20 years old. I was 20 at the time. I'm 20 years old, and I want to develop this product. I've been developing beds. I've been researching sleep. I'd like to come in and talk to you and tell you about the product. And he was like, "Oh, it's Sunday. We're about to go home and pack up."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Honestly, man, 15 minutes of your time. I will be right out the door. I'm 20 minutes away. I'll be there."
You gave him your sales pitch.
I had to get in, right?
Yeah.
And eventually he said yes. So I went for a tour of the factory. He loved the idea and the design, and they said, "We can absolutely help you. Come back for a meeting with the head engineer." And that's that. We had a meeting with the production manager and the head engineer, and it was gold. It was amazing.
So how much interest have you kind of generated so far, and when can people expect to see these beds for sale?
Yeah, so the interest has just been unreal, because I think every single person or someone has had back pain and has had sleeping problems, right?
Myself included, yeah.
Yeah, so a lot of people have had this problem, and actually talking about the problem is interesting, because we never really talk about this problem.
No.
So we're really, really pushing for a month to 2 months of early adopters. So we're going to do like around 100 units at 40% off for our early adopters. Have a cohort.
How much are they going for, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah, so we're thinking about pricing them at $399. A lot cheaper than any mattress on the market.
Oh, yeah.
And
Sure.
but for our early adopters, again, 40% off at around $220 would be probably what we're hoping to do, because we want to. It doesn't make sense why mattresses are $1,000. It does not make sense.
Some of them are even more. I think the one my parents just bought was like $3,000.
It does not make sense. And for people that live in small areas, the real estate consumed by the mattress does not make sense.
No.
If you have a one-bedroom apartment downtown Toronto, Montreal, San Francisco, you're paying for that real estate. That's a very expensive bed that you have.
Right.
If you can fold up your bed, put it in the closet, and then start working or do your gym activities or do something with that space, it's much more useful than sleeping on this big rectangle cube, right?
Oh, so your bed folds as well?
Yeah, it's fully
You know what
portable.
that's going to do? That's going to create a lot of less havoc when people move, right? Because mattresses are like the worst thing to move especially when you're trying to get them down like a spiral staircase. Right?
Yeah. I actually have a client who actually wants one because he has a spiral staircase.
Yeah, it's literally impossible. Like every time I've moved like 5 or 6 times in my life, and every time we've moved, the mattress is a problem getting it down the stairs.
Yeah, and it's pretty funny that you mentioned that. I was going into a meeting and I see these with the bed in one arm, right? And I see these guys, they're like wrestling a bed in. I'm just like, I'm there with one hand, like,
yeah, you can fold this thing up, carry it like a briefcase, and
just, so it's fun.
down the stairs. Yeah, for sure. So you started this company a year ago, about, right? So if you look over at the past year, what has been the most fulfilling part of being an entrepreneur so far to you?
That's a tough question.
What are some things that you've loved about it? Maybe that's a better question.
Yeah, there's definitely not one. You can't put
No, of course, yeah.
It's such a great thing, and I encourage everyone watching and listening to this podcast, do what you want to do with your life. It's so fulfilling. Anything that you love doing, people will respect you, and it's just amazing. So I would say, to answer your question, the people like you, meeting people like you, getting to go to these LinkedIn events and going to startup events, meeting other entrepreneurs that are passionate about helping other people. If your product or business does not help other people, there's no point for your product or business, right? So the people is huge, right? The places you will go for business is huge. You start your own business, you will travel all over the city. You'll meet people you never thought you would meet. And it's crazy. I believe as soon as you project something into the universe will work its way up and do that for you. So project everything positive. Don't do anything negative. Don't even think negative. Project positivity and you will receive positivity.
How have you kind of got over, like, have you at all at any point like experienced any negative thoughts, and how did you kind of overcome that?
I think it's important to listen to everything and everyone and everyone's opinion.
Right.
But I think not taking that too to heart, because every person you meet, you have to take it with a grain of salt.
Right.
You have to.
Right.
It's not like you have to listen to that person dead on. It doesn't make sense, right? So you just have to keep going. It's like Steve Jobs, for example. Mm-hmm. People told him, "You're crazy," like all this stuff. He got fired from his own company. Yeah. The company went down after that.
Oh yeah.
Right. So it's about the founder and the drive, the original drive, why you started the company in the first place.
The person, not the business.
It's about the person, and it's very relevant in every business. It's always about the person. It's the drive and the positivity that they have. That's all it is.
Positivity and networking, the key to success.
Absolutely.
So before we sign off here, if people want to learn more about SleepFuture and the bed you're designing, how can they do that?
Yeah, so you can check me out at sleepfuture.com. The domain is the business name as well. And Peaches Pro is my Instagram. You can check me out there. LinkedIn, Lucas Picciolo, Picciolo. I'm around. I mean,
you're around. You're on social. Everyone's on social media.
Yeah.
Do you guys do you have a SleepFuture Instagram account as well, or?
We do. Haven't really promoted it, right? Yeah. It's really hard to do. Again, we're talking earlier about being the chief everything officer.
Exactly, right.
You have to do everything.
You're a social media guy.
I really do, yeah. So if you're watching, hit me up. No. Yeah. But no, it's especially with a physical product. I wanted to get the physical product as beautiful as possible. It's really hard. It's really hard. For sure. But it's a lot of fun.
All right. Well, thanks guys for joining us on another episode of TRM. Expect to see another couple episodes within the next couple of weeks. I'm going to keep posting basically on the same pace that I've been doing so far. So guys, check out The Restless Millennial and keep hustling, most importantly.
Keep hustling.
Peace.